Hi guys, welcome to Real Talk. Welcome to Real People, Real Conversation, a safe space where honest conversations about mental health, healing, faith, relationship, and everyday life comes alive. I'm your host, Omobalaji, and together we'll break stigma, share stories, and remind each other that no one has to struggle alone. Let's talk, let's heal, let's grow together. Hey guys, welcome to Real Talk. As we always say, the conversations and the stories here, they are not to judge anybody or to talk about what they're going through, but they're just to let us know that we are not the only one going through a situation, that somebody else somewhere has been through what you are going through and you are not alone. My story today was sent to me, and I'm going to be reading it from the person's perspective. And it says, when I married my husband, I genuinely believe I had found someone strong, protective, ambitious. It was the kind of person who could walk into a room immediately and become the center of attention. People admired him. My family admired him too. In the beginning, it made me feel incredibly important. He called constantly, wanted to know everything about me, and talked about our future like it was already guaranteed. Looking back now, I realize how fast everything moved. At that time, I mistook insensitive for love. The problem started in ways that were easy to dismiss. If I disagree with him about something small, he stopped speaking to me for hours or days sometimes. If I brought up something that hurts my feelings, the conversation somehow becomes about how difficult I was being. He had a way of turning every argument around until it ended up being me apologizing, even when I originally came up to him about me being upset. I remember one night telling him I felt lonely because he worked late all the time. Instead of listening, he stared at me and said, "Nothing is ever enough for you, is it?" That sentence stayed in my head for weeks. Over time, I stopped bringing up my feelings altogether because every conversation left me emotionally drained. I felt easy to just stay quiet than to spend hours defending why I was hurt. The isolation happened gradually and gradually. He never directly told me I couldn't see my friends, but he complained afterward every time I did. If I went for dinner with co-workers, he accused me of neglecting my marriage. If I spent time with my family, he became cold and distant for the rest of the night. Eventually, I started canceling plans because dealing with his reaction afterwards became really exhausting. I didn't notice how small my world had become until one of my friends asked me, "Why do we never see you anymore?" By then, my confidence was almost gone. I questioned everything constantly. The tone of my voice, the way I phrased things, whether I was overreacting. He corrected me often, especially in front of other people. Sometimes it was subtle, sometimes humiliating. If I reacted emotionally, he would laugh and say, "See, this is why nobody can talk to you." The confusing part was that he wasn't cruel all the time. There were normal days, good weekends, moments where he was affectionate and thoughtful again. Those moments made me doubt myself more than the bad ones did. I kept thinking, maybe every marriage was this hard behind closed doors. The breaking point came during an argument about money. I had accidentally paid the wrong bill from our account and he exploded. Not screaming. Honestly, I almost wish he had screamed. Instead, he spoke to me with the cold disgust that made me feel 2 inches tall. "You never survive without me," he said. I remember standing there completely silent because deep down I was terrified he might be right. A few weeks later, I started therapy. At first, I spent most sessions defending him. I talked about his stressful childhood, his work pressure, the good things he has done for me. My therapist listened patiently, but eventually she asked me one question I couldn't stop thinking about. "When was the last time you felt emotionally safe with your husband?" I couldn't answer her. That scared me more than anything. Leaving didn't happen quickly. People think you suddenly wake up one day full of confidence, but for me, it was slower and messier than I thought. I had to rebuild trust in my own judgment first. I had to spend years believing in my feelings were irrational or not irrational. I started reconnecting with people quietly. I opened my own bank account. I began noticing how calm I felt whenever he was out of town. One day, I finally left. He switched between crying, apologizing, blaming me, promising to change within the same hour. A part of me still wanted to believe him because I missed the version of the man that I married. But therapy had taught me something very important. Love is not supposed to make you feel afraid to speak. It's been 3 years now. I still deal with anxiety sometimes. I still patch myself, apologizing too much. But my life feels peaceful in a way I never thought was possible before. The strangest part of this is that healing didn't begin when I met someone new. It began the moment I stopped believing I deserve to be emotionally controlled. Thank you so much for listening to this story. As we always do, we don't come here to judge anybody's story or to, share their story because we need to advise them. This podcast is not about advice. It's about knowing that people are actually experiencing something that you have experienced or you know somebody experiencing it. One of the things that I love about this story is that this person also seeks therapy. But my honest bunch about narcissists is that a lot of people have a misconception that only men are narcissists. No, narcissist doesn't mean a male or a female. It could be both, because these are behaviors that people have already developed while they were developing psychologically. So from me to you, I would say that if you need help and you need to talk to somebody, please do. Your life is very, very important and valuable. Thank you. Thank you for joining me on today's episode. Remember, healing is a journey, not a destination. Be kind to yourself, take care of your mind, and never be afraid to ask for help. Until next time, stay strong, stay hopeful, and keep choosing you.